Have Galway made progress this year under Henry Shefflin?
No, I don't think they have.
Okay, last year they had an up and down Leinster campaign, got to a final, fell away the last 20 minutes, unimpressively beat Cork in the quarterfinal, and then give a great performance against Limerick in the semi-final. Up and down during Leinster this year. We're in a winning position in the Leinster final. That can happen, teams where you give away a goal, but still they give away a goal in that fashion. That's not great. Then what happened the other day as well, they capitulated after a fairly good performance against Tipperary, it must be said, the previous day. Won by 2, but probably could have won by 10. Yeah, so with all of that in light, what are you seeing in terms of Galway moving forward and Henry Shefflin?
God, I'm not convinced he'll stay on another year. I think Henry's getting a little frustrated at the fact that an element of Galway hurling, and I suppose the fact that they've had all this talent for the guts of 30 years and they've only won one All-Ireland, and I think it's a mentality thing, and I think Henry is frustrated. I'd say it's beginning to frustrate him now, like that. He's coming from a county where they were mentally so tough and full of belief, and now he's in a county where they have as much, if not more, talent in Kilkenny. But on the mental side of things, they get a little flustered. And we saw it in the Leinster final with the panic at the end with the goal. And look, I still think there was an element of panic with that second goal at the weekend. Pádraig Bannion shouldn't be flicking a ball like that in the square. Somebody's got to get up to that ball and catch it, or somebody's got to call and say, mine. And there still was only a 1-point game at that side. I think as soon as that goal went in, I think Limerick would have probably still won it anyway. As soon as the goal went in, you could just see the air going out, and they were already taking on water. But I just think they're lacking leaders. Like Joe Canning is gone, David Burke, he's probably past his best, but as a leader on the field, he would have been massive. I think they're definitely short a bit of leadership. There's no doubt about it. And they were definitely short of plan B last weekend. As soon as Limerick retreated and said, you can have the short puck out, but if you go long, we'll hoover it up. If you have the short one, we'll batter you in the middle of the field. It was like they weren't prepared for what Limerick were going to bring to them.
Yeah, James Coughlin is saying here, laugh out loud, Tip lads talking about Lohan being passionate on the line. Have you seen Liam Sheedy and Liam Cahill, lads?
Did I say it was a criticism?
Yeah, and also the thing is, just because a Tipperary person might be passionate on the line, it doesn't mean that other Tipperary people mightn't be able to say, well, it doesn't work for Team X, Y, and Z.
I would have said Liam Cahill was very calm this year. Maybe in the Limerick game, I think that was definitely a game he really got fired up for. But there was a few games this year, I would have thought Liam was calmer than what even when he was with Waterford.
Yeah, I just wondered just on that with regards Lohan, does it cloud his judgment then a little bit? That's what I'm just wondering about. Does he get too into it that can happen? Sheedy, gets passionate on the line, but you rarely would have seen him. Yeah, you rarely would have seen him make a bad call based on the element, because I do think he's a good team around him as well. That's a big factor in it. I'd have to question, if you're looking at Clare, I wonder how much of their backroom team can be able to rein in Lohan, when things need to happen, to say, Brian, here, come on, let's pull this together, and make a good call on things. I just wonder, and I think that might be a factor. Just quickly on Galway, I can't see Henry either, Shane, staying on. I just think he's probably scratching his head about how much more can he get out of them. I don't know. I saw that, the inevitable was going to happen. You were crediting them, and you would have been shouting at the television. It's not that I'm ranting against Limerick or anything like that, but you just fancied a change up and you wanted to see them, really being taken on or whatever. And Galway were doing that, but you just felt it was going to happen. There was going to be a capitulation or something. And I just wonder, has the Leinster final left a serious scar? When you think about that clearance, in the Leinster final in closing state, to kick the ball back across the goal, it should have been left in the top of the tier 7 in Crow Park. That's as far as I would have thought. It should have been out that direction. Again, even Mannion, the flick back. I know he was probably thinking it was 2 Kilkenny players. He probably saw them out of the corner of his eye on his right hand side, so he was trying to flick it away from them. But again, I would be thinking the basics. You don't flick the ball back across your own goal. Could he have caught the ball? I'm trying to think about it in real time there. Could he? But again, some of the decision making under pressure, just Galway at key moments, this year didn't go well for them.
Yeah, Hurling 1-2-3-4 says Cahill lost the head against Cork on numerous times this year.
The Clare lads get very defensive, don't they?
St. Lohan does. Cahill is worse.
Great to hear the Clare lads listening to Tip Boys, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, no.
Looking to learn something, true.
No, I do think for all, like, we know, I'm from Laura, like, I'd be very close to the Galway scene up along. There is a great rivalry with all the clubs up there, but I do think that Galway are at their best and one of their own as manager. I do think Micheál Donoghue won the All-Ireland. Like, for all his critics, Anthony Cunningham got 4 very, very good years out of Galway, got them to 2 All-Ireland finals. Unlucky not to win the 12 final. Noel Lane got them to an All-Ireland final, I think it was 2005, I think it was Noel Lane, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it is. I think Galway County or one of their own has to be the head man, because I think there's something in the Galway psyche that you've got to tap into yourself. Like, Henry doesn't understand the Galway psyche. He's a Kilkenny-psyche man. And
they're called the tribesmen for a reason, Shane, you know?
Yeah.